my name's Akanksha Dhalkar. Normal, simple college kid who just wanted to do something. I did not pay a lot of attention to my academics. Then I've been working with LinkedIn as a software developer. A lot of college kids do not contribute to open source. So since it became the highlight that, okay, there's a 19-year-old who's trying to contribute into something which most programmers don't even try. Somehow open source communities are always super nice.
When you just start, somebody says something to you and you think that I'll not be able to do this, right? But the key
Mm-hmm.
thing is keep going.
If you have other things on your resume, like a hobby project, like open source contribution, that immediately gives you a highlight.
So, hello friends, welcome to Logikey. Today we are with Akansha, who is here to talk about open sourcing and how we can contribute to it. So, why don't you introduce yourself, Akansha?
Hi, everyone. So, my name is Akanksha Dhalkar, and I graduated college last year in 2019. I did my BTech in CS. And since then, I've been working with LinkedIn as a software developer. I'm majorly a full stack software developer, but I do incline towards front end.
So, in front end, what all technologies you are working on?
Right. So I began my development with majorly basic JavaScript and HTML and CSS, which then transformed into working with Ember.js, if you've heard about it.
Yeah.
Ember.js is an those JavaScript framework, which is heavily used by LinkedIn. And the reason I began with Ember.js is because I wanted to get into LinkedIn. So I started going more tech specific.
Okay.
And apart from that, I'm learning React.js at the moment. So that's pretty much about it.
Okay. So when we talk about open source, it's about when the source code is freely available and then you can take a look at the code, you can contribute to it, right?
Right.
So how you started your journey? What actually motivated you to start your journey in open sourcing?
Right. So I think a lot of students will be able to relate with my story because the best part about it is that it's a very normal, simple college kid who just wanted to do something. While I was in college, was not, I did not pay a lot of attention to my academics due to a lot of reasons because I was a naughty kid. Plus, I just had some issues and I did not do a lot of I did not pay a lot of attention to my academic score per se. So when in third year, all everybody's supposed to do an internship, and like most people are supposed to do a summer internship and then submit a report and everything, is when I started looking out for what to do. And so I have an older brother who is about 8 years older than me, and he's also a software developer with computer science, exact same
Same
stream
with
and
me,
everything.
same with
Yeah.
me. I have an elder brother who's like 11 years older to me. Yeah.
Oh wow. No, it's always ki bhaiya is doing it, so I want to do it. So I got into
Exactly.
CS and yeah.
Yeah.
So I reached out to him saying, ki, hey, I kind of messed up my academic and now I don't know what to do. And I think it's never too late. So where do I start? So we started looking for internships. I mean, he also used to keep an eye out for me. And then we came across a link on Twitter, which basically was inviting interns for a company called 201 Created. The company is now dismantled, and members of the company are now part of the other company called Adipar. So we reached out to them and we realized it was a survey results and analytic computation internship for the company for a framework called Ember.js. At that point, I wasn't super aware about what Ember.js is. So then I started doing a little more research into what it was. And then I realized it's an open source community where then I checked out issues and I saw, okay, this could be done. So
Okay,
my
so you
internship,
started with a thing which is open source, right? So that's a wonderful
yes.
starting for you. Yeah.
hmm
Yeah.
But and the surprising part about it is that I was really hesitant. I always thought that, I've never even heard about the language before. And because I've not paid a lot of attention to my academics and my work, I was really hesitant if I'll get through. So it took a lot of convincing from my brother to tell me, hey, no, apply for it. Even if you
Yeah,
don't know it, what's the worst? You'll get rejected. And I
exactly.
did. And surprisingly, I got it. So that is the day I began working with Ember.js.
Mhm.
And then I went for EmberConf as a reward for helping them out. So they're a company based out of Portland, like they were a company based out of Portland, Oregon mostly, which is in the US. I
Okay.
did remote work for about 3 months, and then I went for the EmberConf, where I met people that were working at LinkedIn, and then I decided, okay, this is where I want to be. So
Nice.
yeah, in my case, I started with something which was open source, but the best part is that now when I look back, I realize that that's a really good thing to do, because since all the code is so openly available, I could just take a look. There was never a moment where I did not know what was happening, even about concepts under the hood, everything was available.
Mhm.
So contributing to something which was open source was a lot easier for me than maybe, interning at a company where maybe I did not know about a lot of code base that was under the hood and was not available to interns, which is where I also, got very inclined to open source, because it made me feel as if I was helping give back to the community, which is giving
Right.
me so much to work with. And that was a feeling of just, I don't know, pure happiness.
Right. So coming to that, actually, when you do open sourcing, what could be the
Hmm.
benefits out of it? Let's discuss about it.
Okay.
So one thing
So
when I hear you, I think when you can get internships out of that as well. Like if you have heard of
right,
GSOC and all these internships,
right.
when you do open sourcing and you get recognized, there are more chances that you can get internships as well. Then
Hmm.
second
Hmm.
thing is you're learning from someone's code. So you're learning a lot.
Right,
You can see how they have written your code. It can help you in code reviews as well. You can think how they have designed it, right? So
right, right.
what's your point on that?
So like you mentioned that it can help you get internship, it can help you get jobs. I got my job solely because I contributed to
Exactly.
Ember. Yeah. And I mean, LinkedIn is an amazing place to work at. I'm not saying anything about any other company, but yeah, just because I was contributing and, I turned out to be a young college kid who, because a lot of college kids do not contribute to open source. So
Mhm.
since it became the highlight that, okay, there's a 19-year-old who's trying to contribute into something which most programmers don't even try, and
Right.
that became one of the major reasons why I got highlighted and I got an edge over everybody else in getting a job.
Exactly.
So yeah, not just internships, it helps you get jobs, but on a
During the
more
job also it helps, right? So in your
oh
job
yeah,
also.
definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Though in my case, my job became, I mean, I'm using the same framework at my place, which is, I mean, the open source community. So that's like a added benefit, because I can
Right.
just go and open it under the hood and see everything. Like I'm not in a state where I cannot understand what is going on, and there's no way for me to access that code.
Mm-hmm.
But on a more personal level, I feel that open source contributions help make you a better programmer, in the
Exactly.
sense where now, because let's say I take up an issue which is on an open source platform like Ember.js, for example, I have a lot more accountability that I need to take care of, since
Mhm.
my issue and my commitment to that issue is something where a lot of other people from all across the world are dependent on. So it brings a sense of more accountability. It brings a sense of accountability from within myself, where since I've taken up something on myself, and it's not that somebody's told me, okay, no, you have to do this. It's just something that I decide, okay, I'm going to take up this issue, and then I tell people that assign this to me, and I'm going to take up this issue. It makes me feel like, okay, if I don't do it, there are so many other people that are going to be stuck, and I don't want that to happen.
Mhm.
Apart from that, since there are so many people that can do your code reviews, and somehow open source communities are always super nice, and it can seem really challenging to get into it. And you like initially when I went in, I always kept thinking, okay, what if people judge me for what I don't know? What if somebody thinks, oh, she
Exactly.
doesn't know see these
Mhm.
simple concepts? But now that I'm there, I realize that everybody is the same. There is something that, like, there are some things that I won't know, there are some things that everybody else won't know, and that is how
Yeah.
all of us fit together in a puzzle, where we help each other out, saying, hey, no, you can do it like that. And even when I come across other people's issues and I'm like, hey, you could do it in way A instead of the way you've done it, it's never a mental thing where I'm like, oh, you don't even know this. It's more
Yeah.
like, hey, do you think that approach is better? And that gives me a sense of confidence, where I realize that I can also learn from so many other people, which also then eventually helps me in my work, where because I've been interacting with so many other people, I can be like, hey, there are 4 approaches for this, and I think this approach is better because this. And
Right.
all of that is solely because
Mhm.
of all the other code reviews and everything.
Yeah.
So I do think open source contribution does somewhere tweak these little points in you. Plus, so any part of being a software developer is, let's say, 40 to 50% technical, right? The
Mhm.
rest is also about your people communication, your people skills.
Yeah.
The way you interact, the way you share your knowledge, the way you collaborate. That communication part is really important.
Right.
And contributing to open source is one place where you can do it with, I mean, for example, if you were to, mess up, do a kind of miscommunication at work or do miscommunication at an internship, it may have certain, not negative, but it may have certain, you know, results where there's some kind of a loss, or even if not a loss, somebody would, mention it out to you that, hey, this went really wrong,
Mm-hmm.
which is not the case in open source, because over there, people, the whole thing is different. There is nothing at super stake there on it based on your communications. All you can do is learn better. Because let's say you miscommunicate something, somebody may come back to you and say, "Hey, I think we had a miscommunication, and you could do it this way, that way."
Mm-hmm.
Whereas at work, because of that, you may mess up a project or you may mess up deadlines, and that can have repercussions.
You're right.
So, learning and picking up these skills from open source also helps a lot in work, because yeah, people skills is a very important part which open source can teach you.
Yeah. So overall, your personality develops with it, right? In a way.
Right, pretty much.
Yeah.
It helps
Yeah.
you with both. It helps you with both people and technical skills.
Exactly. So many times students ask that my coding is not that good. Okay. Can I
Mhm.
contribute in open source? And yeah, how can they go ahead?
No, I completely understand. Like I said, I completely think that a lot of people will be able to relate with me, because, like I said, when I started my first open source contribution, it was just directly diving into something, and I did not know anything about Ember.js.
Okay.
But apart from that, yeah, I know it can seem really challenging, and like I said, you always feel that somebody else may judge you, oh, you don't even
Yeah.
know this and you don't
Yeah.
even know that. I think some key points to remember is that you have to evaluate and understand that people out there, I mean, most people out there at least, are not going to, be in a judgy mindset. It's more going to be like, hey, a college kid, somebody who's in college is trying to learn new things. Maybe I can teach them things which, let's say, I took 3 years to learn the best way for. Maybe I can give them that knowledge so that they don't end up wasting or, investing that much time figuring out what the wrong paths are while eventually coming to the right. And I can help guide them. You have to keep it like, I'm not saying there will be nobody that you come across that may, try to put you down, but most people out there will only be looking out to, help you tweak your right paths.
Yeah, right.
Secondly, everything, I mean, nobody knows everything, right? It's always the only way you do learn something is by reading. And
Hmm.
sure, I'm not denying that, it's a scary thing to, there will always be somebody who's doing better, and
Yeah.
chances of you comparing yourself to somebody
So
who's
just
doing
don't
better
stop
is more.
yourself. Yeah, just don't stop yourself if
Right.
somebody is putting you down, right? So this is one
Right.
thing that happens when you start. When you just start, somebody says something to you and you think that I'll not be able to do this, right? But the key
Mm-hmm.
thing is keep going. Exactly.
Right, and especially in college. I mean, it's been what, a year since I've been out, so it's only been a year since I've been out.
Mhm.
I do have a very fresh memory of it. Often, more often than not, just because colleges, especially Indian colleges, are a very marks and GPA focused place where you can't sit for certain placements if you don't have a
Right.
GPA. They
Mm-hmm.
make you feel as if they make you basically feel a little undervalued. It can make you feel undervalued if you do not, even if you, let's say, have a 6.09 GPA, like 99 GPA. Even
Right.
then, they don't let you sit for something that's 7, and that
Exactly.
can really, really, really be sad, because I mean, you can see somebody who's probably, let's say, just only book smart, or just good at getting marks. There are
Right.
people that way,
Mm-hmm.
and you can see them getting placed at places where you would have wanted to be, like Microsoft or Google or whatever, just solely because they're a 7. So give, like, having that opportunity taken away from you just based on a very, very static method is sad, and it can be really demotivating. But for, I mean, for people in college, you really need to remember that out of all the companies in the world, there are a very small subset that come to your college for placements. And
Mm-hmm.
nobody says that you can't apply from outside, right? I mean, college sure is a streamlined way where you have it handpicked, and there are some ways where you can easily apply. But sure, you can take a slightly more difficult path and apply outside college. If you have other things on your resume, like a hobby project, like open source contribution, that immediately gives you a highlight, because as a recruiter, I'm going through profiles and I see, hey, there's a kid who compared to other people is doing these many things, is also
Mm-hmm.
contributing to open sources, investing their time away from college to do more things in tech. which automatically filters your resume for me to process.
Right, right. So that's how open sourcing can help you, right?
Yeah, definitely,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah. Okay.
I mean, especially
So, yeah, go ahead.
especially now that I'm working at LinkedIn, and often more often than not, I either shadow interviews or for some specific domains I take interviews. I
Mm-hmm.
realize that when I see a resume, I'm also very interested in, hey, this person has a lot of hobby projects. Ooh, I wonder what they did in this hobby project. Like, the technical aspects. And on more often than not, I'm really amazed when I see people from college who tell me, we made this and we did that. And for open sourcing, we've been doing these issues and we've been contributing to open source. Because it's not the kind or the severity of the issue that you pick up. Because, of course, in college, nobody expects you to pick up big, huge, complex pieces.
Of
Even
course.
solving something as tiny as, an image going out of your width and making your thing scroll
Mm-hmm.
is big enough for us, because what it basically shows us is that you have exposure, you have communication skills. If you're doing an open source, you probably know what GitHub is, so we won't have to invest time in teaching you technical things such as how to work with Git, or what kind of
Exactly.
communication you need to have, which is a big thing when you look at it. If I have somebody from college who already knows how to work with GitHub, and I know ki, okay, if I tell them ki हाँ उसको Git के repo में push कर दो, is much simpler for me than me telling them, okay, learn what Git is.
Yeah, exactly.
And while it's not a, I mean, while I'm not saying that we completely don't like people like that or allow people like that, point being that these are just technical resources for you to better your development, right? So when you're already working with open source, I already know for a fact that you have to be working on some kind of a repo for you to be exchanging code. So you do have some knowledge of what push is, what pull is, how you give it there, what a code review is. Those kind of things help accelerate my process, and
Exactly.
also
It really helps you get going when you enter into any enterprise. It really helps you if you
right.
know about Git, GitHub. Nobody needs to tell you about it. And in fact, you can focus more on your project rather than focusing on version control systems
Right,
and all.
right. Awesome.
Right.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And the sad part is that colleges don't teach any of this. So
Mm-hmm.
all the more reason that when I see it on a resume, I just seeing, okay, you have some kind of open source contribution, be it as small as changing a word on the main, website, is a big thing for me, because to change that one word, you've learned so many other things, which now will help me, like when I onboard you, which will make things easier for us to communicate.
Right.
I won't have to explain to you what SVN is. I won't have to tell you how to fetch a repo. I won't even have to explain to you what a repo is, right? So
Mm-hmm.
that definitely does. Just knowing these tools can definitely help make things better for you. So that is again one way how open source helps.
Yeah, yeah. So we have discussed how open sourcing can help us. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning into Logic Heap. If you like this video, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.